Hi, my name is Michelle Gunther, and my informative speech is on how to groom your dog. I groom my dogs basically once every 2 to 3 months. It's a good idea to help with their health care. It keeps them free of fleas and ticks, which could cause other problems. It also helps me to look for any abnormalities in that they're getting older now. You could bring your dogs to a professional to have them groomed, and I find this is very costly, so I tend to do this job on my own. Before you begin, you'll need a couple of items. A dog to start is a good idea. Small, medium, or large will do. I have 2 Australian Shepherds. They're medium-sized dogs, about 35 pounds apiece. Nail clippers for dogs. There are quite a few types out there. It's good to invest in a more expensive type because they're make a cleaner cut and are safer for your dogs. There's my dog now. A dog brush, comb, Dawn dishwashing soap. The original is the best type to use. You would need to dilute that. Johnson's baby shampoo, and that will be for their face and head. It's good for their eyes because you don't want to get regular soap in their eyes, as that could be painful. Suave conditioner. I use the lavender scent. It smells good. Dog ear cleaner, which they sell in pet stores. Cotton balls or cotton pads to help cleaning the ears. And scissors, if you need them, to trim any fur that might be long around the pads of their feet. And lots of towels. Before you bathe your dog, you should comb them, brush them very well. Now, I have, my dogs are long-haired, so I use this type of brush. It's a wire brush, and it gets down into their coat. They don't particularly like it, but it helps get the knots out. If you have a smaller dog or a dog that has short hair, I should say, you can use a brush like this. Either side will do. You have like the vent brush part and the regular brush part. So this will help get knots out as well. Combs will help that to do that the same task. So I brush them out very good and make sure that they don't have any knots in them before I start. The other thing I do before I put them in the bath is I clip their nails. Now I have these nail clippers, which are very good, and they're a little bit more on the expensive side, but they are very sharp and they cut very clear. Now you need to be careful when you're clipping their nails because they have a quick, and as I found in the ASPCA in 2014 website, Caring for Your Dogs, the quick, you could tell on white nails, it's the part where it starts to get pink. You don't want to cut that because that will make them bleed. Some instances you will. The dog will pull away and you accidentally clip them in the wrong place. If you have some baking soda or even a bar of soap, you can put that over where the nail you just cut, and it should help clot the blood and stop the bleeding because they can tend to bleed a lot. So those are the things that you'd want to do before you put them in the tub, which is where I put them. Or you could do it under a hose if it's summertime. It's kind of cold water, but some people have hot, cold water running outside. I don't, so I tend to do my dog's baths in the tub. And before I do that, or while I'm doing that, I use this little device here, which I put over the drain, because otherwise my dog's hair is long and it will end up clogging my drain. So I get them in the tub and I soak them down very well with water, lukewarm water, not too hot. And I take my Dawn dishwashing soap. And I dilute this in actually another Dawn bottle, which gives you the squirt bottle. So soak them up very, very well and lather them very well. Scrubbing them is a good idea. And at this time, you can also be looking to see if any ticks or fleas are falling off of them, because this Dawn dishwashing soap will kill fleas. So they'll fall right off. I had a flea problem a couple years back, and this was very helpful in cleaning the dogs. So once I've got them all lathered up with the Dawn dishwashing soap, which is diluted, I take the Suave conditioner and I start from the back of their neck and I just do a squirt all the way down their back and I massage that in. Again, looking for any abnormalities is a good time to do that because you're getting underneath their armpits, and that's a good idea to do that, and get in between their toes really well. And then I use the Johnson's baby shampoo, which I unfortunately don't have any at the moment, but that's a good to use on their face. it will, if it gets in their eyes, it's non-irritating, just like for babies, and it tends to work. So use that on their head, their nose, their snout area, and around their eyes. And make sure you get their ears cleaned very well as well. So now that you've got them all lathered up, you're ready to rinse. So rinse them with, I have, my shower head comes off, so I use the spray shower head, and it's very important to rinse them very, very well. You don't want to leave any soap residue on their skin, as it will become irritating to them and make them scratch and dry out their skin. So make sure you rinse them very, very well. Next step is I usually close the curtain and let them shake off a couple times. My dogs, I could tell them to shake, and they'll tend to shake. Most dogs will. They don't like all that water being in them, and when their face gets wet, they tend to shake, which they tend to do while you're lathering them up. So I tend to get wet and soapy as well, but it's totally worth it. So once they've shaken off a couple of times, you can let them hop out of the tub, and now comes to lots of towels. So you need to towel them dry as much as you can. The longer haired dog it is, the more towels you're going to need. So try to dry them as much as you can. Now they do sell hair dryers for dogs as a next step. I don't particularly have one. My dogs don't like them. So I kind of let them air dry. It takes some time because my dogs have long hair. But I'll let them air dry. Once they are dry, you brush them out again and brush out their fur, and it's very soft and it looks very good. And so brush them really, really well. And the final step, well, a couple of the final steps, is trimming them. Now, I have professional dog scissors. So you could buy these. They're very expensive and they need to be sharpened every once in a while. I do suggest, if you have a dog and you're going to do this on a regular basis, you invest in a good pair. Now, I always trim the pads, the fur that's growing out between the pads of the nails and stuff, because I have some floors, and if I don't do that with my older dogs, they tend to slide very easily on the floors if they're not on rugs. So you just clip it so that it's even with the pads, and then you can, on longer haired dogs, you can clip anywhere that you feel necessary. Their belly fur, I tend to do a straight line across on their bellies, makes them look prettier, and I trim around actually the top of their feet a little bit to make them more aligned and look nicer. Finally, I clean their ears, and I use ear cleaning liquid that I got at Petco, and it's not too expensive. You put this, you soak a cotton ball or a pad. I use the pads, I find them easier. So you soak this and you kind of wipe around the inside of the ear, and you stick your finger a little bit down, but you don't want to go too far down. You don't want to hit their ear canal. But you could go a little bit in there. My dog's ears don't tend to get too dirty, but I know some dogs' ears get very dirty. And this stuff works great. It's kind of got an oily type base to it, and it's not harmful to them. So it's a good product to use. So there you have it. Now you have a nice clean dog, free hopefully of fleas and ticks. And as a final touch, you can use some finishing spray, which they sell all different types of this at Petco as well. And it's just scented. This one is vanilla peach. I don't tend to use it. I've had it for a while. I like the lavender smell of the swab, so they always do smell very good. And that's it. You now have clean, fresh dogs. So hopefully this was helpful to you, and you'll be able to start cleaning your own dogs instead of paying all that money to have somebody else do it. Thank you.